Hello, everyone. I have some good news for Diagosquid. I have finally cracked the conversion of the old code to GameMaker Studio 2. I finally have not only a working version of the previous code, but I've made improvements to certain things. And now I welcome you to the testing room. Now here is, you may notice that the entire objects in this room is comprised of object floor 1s. And that's because I'm thinking of making it much easier in the coding to actually just like limit how many objects are just have collision to them. I'm thinking of just like overlaying sprites over it as like decorations to fit the different settings. That's what I'm thinking of doing. So yeah, the problem I had before with platforming is that if you go into like the corners here, like with this code, you kind of get up on the corners if you just hit it in the right spot, but before you would just go right through the floor. Also, if you were on the side of the wall and you would jump, you would bounce off because there was a mechanic of bouncing off the ceiling. That's this. Apparently that was like a hitbox kind of thing. So yeah, I fixed all of it, and now the platforming is playable. Not only that, but I've also implemented slopes in the game. You can now climb certain kinds of slopes. See, in this testing room here, we have the gradual slope. I like how he kind of jitters as he goes up. We have the steep slopes, and he's able to easily clear out that. And then we have 1 pixel steep slopes, and apparently it's actually able to clear up that as well. The exception is the slopes where the ratio of up over is bigger than 1. It just stops. Which is kind of weird because the code, I think the code would have kind of counted for that, but I'm not sure. The only problem is I can't, going down the slope, he's like falling, bouncing off a stair, falling, etc. So it kind of eats your jump if you try to hit jump doing it. I've also made it so that you can go over, as you saw, you can go over pits without falling through them, kind of like Mario. You can also jump on every frame as you go past it. And that's because I've also implemented a feature where in a few frames when you leave the platform you can still jump. And that way it doesn't eat your jump if you happen to like be 1 frame off the edge before you jump. That makes it so you can easily... A jump like this used to be hard, but now it's kind of easier. Even make jumps like this, like that. Another improvement of my code is I used to be able to, in 1 block gaps, I would go through under it, and if I hit jump, I would go through it. But here I'm actually bounded by it, which is a nice plus. I think that's also a hitbox thing. So let's do a little exploring of the testing room. Here is, I do the reverse. I do what it's like to have, like, only a couple pixels hanging out from each one. And it seems like there's, like, different behavior for each one. This one, I think it's just 1 pixel that goes over each block. And it's like every other block is landable. Every 3 blocks, it seems. or one next, and it's kind of glitchy. Because you're not able... See, this is the problem that I was having before. So that's what happens with that. When it's one more, it's the most climbable. I still kind of go through some of them. Like, not land on some of them, which is interesting. Alright, so over here I just test how much you can go up the slope without stopping. You can also jump to kind of squeeze yourself through there more. Here here's where I test like how narrow of a vertical thing I can squeeze through. And it's right until I land on this. Oh, sorry. So down here's the downfall testing. Let me just go back up so I can actually test it, but it's to test how easily my code lands. See, my code uses a for loop that breaks everything into powers of 2, and that basically clears like every pixel in a large space for landing in the jump. And on the very first pixel that it touches the ground, it teleports my player to the ground during that. And that makes it so that you can land on... This was also present in the first code, but that makes it so that you can land on everything. And then apparently it's also improved. Before, I used to get stuck into the ground if there was a thing that was like partially inside. But apparently that got fixed when I ported it over here, which is nice. And as you can see, I can fall very large heights at falling speeds and still land on the platforms. Here's the stress test. Sorry, I'm kind of yapping. Here's the stress test for how many pixels I can clear by just moving to the side. And at right there, about 53 pixels, I believe it was, is when he was unable to get past. You're also less able if you're going to the right than to the left, which is also kind of interesting. Some of these blocks also have the same thing, where you can jump, get bounded by the side of it, but if you jump again, you still bounce from the top. That's kind of a bug that I don't know if I should fix or not. Also, I've got the shots programmed as well. I used arrays to make it a little easier to program. But yeah, here's the new projectiles that Diagosquid yields. They're much prettier looking, in my opinion. They don't have sound effects, but I'll put that stuff in later. Here's where I put the first shootable things. Alright. But I think that's about it for this one. I also put over here, I made sure that I'm able to go up slopes on the other side as well. Here's another thing that I would like to show is, this is for, I'm using this to maybe help you dodge certain attacks while you're platforming. This was going to be my duck, and I just wanted to make it so that, it like squishes, you know? He squishes kinda to put the hitbox downward, but, I tried to implement that by putting it into putting it into the controls and just put an if statement in it. But apparently accidentally made it pressing down freezes you but preserves your jumping momentum. And like, I could use that to like dodge things. Like, that could be cool. And I'm, like, experimenting with that. Like, I accidentally gave myself a feature. I'm gonna put a meter so that you can only do it for a certain amount of time, but it'll probably help you dodge attacks and stuff. Alright. So that's the testing room. And the thing I also want to show is, put in the first enemies, their attacks. You notice that I'm able to shoot through the ground, and I'm thinking about deciding not to make it so that everything eats your bullets. Because I'm thinking, if that's how it is in Contra, you get to shoot everywhere, but also the enemies can as well. And I'm thinking that maybe can help you shoot things better. I'm also thinking of implementing a combo system, which like encourages combining different directions of your attacks. So like you could do this and then this, and then it combines the two attacks. And when it combines the attacks, it gives you like a bonus score. So like the max bonus you could get is if you use the cannon, this and this at the same time. I wonder if you can do like something like that. It'll definitely make it much more engaging kind of gameplay. Gotta fix that later. Alright, there's this enemy. Tried to use this enemy to kind of demonstrate that I have a much smaller hitbox for collision and bullets in particular. Before, I had a semi-small hitbox that's both for platforming and collision, but here, I put a smaller hitbox for the collision of the bullets, so that way you can dodge different things like that. You can do stuff like that. See if I can dodge some more of this stuff. Should have made this rotate a little bit faster, but yeah. So you can do stuff like this, and like, if you time it right, you'll get the right position to just kind of squeeze through the bullets. I think I made it so that it's easier to connect the bullets as well. My shots. It makes for these fun combos you're seeing. There's another one right here. Yeah. And that's about it for now. I have some ideas for the further levels, but for now I'm gonna keep working on different aspects of the game. One thing I'm wondering, I'm using the draw sprite for actually drawing the sprite itself, and I'm wondering if I should keep doing that, or I should just make an object that just instantly disappears. Because when you use the draw thing, you like dedicate your entire object into drawing still images, and that's the thing. And if you make it do nothing, your sprite's just invisible. Haven't really put any points, lives and health or anything like that. I'm doing that in the future. But yeah, it's getting pretty functional. I can definitely work on this. I can, with the right amount of time, I could probably even make like a remake Diagosquid 1 in this engine. That way you can actually play it! So hopefully we'll get some good stuff in the future. I'll see you next time. Oh yeah, I almost forgot, there's one last thing I can do. To hold V, you can turn off the draw sprite thing, and you'll see what happens if you just do nothing in the draw sprite. Look at that. Also, there's one last thing. One last thing you can do is if you hold V down and if you go off the stage, you can do this!